Goalkeepers, never strikers, they'll deliver. Crowd rolls in.
Hello there, you're welcome to the channel. So today, quickly, we're talking about the Unity Cup list is out for the game versus Ghana and Jamaica, maybe Trinidad and Tobago. So it's finally out, and shocking. You know, because you see names that come up on this list and you wonder what is the purpose of this list. Now, for me, I've always said this. The timing of this fixture of this Unity Cup, timing of the subsequent friendly match as well, is a bit odd and strange, and therefore makes it difficult, for certain players like your Victor Osimhen, your Ademola Lookmans, to make it into the squad. And for me, I was of the opinion, or I've been of the opinion that okay, since you don't have a lot of your big hitters being able to make it, onto this list and therefore play these games, this list, this Unity Cup, the friendly match, subsequent friendly match, should present an opportunity for players that normally would not make it into the list, but for them to make it onto the list and show what they can do. And what I had in mind with respect to these players, I had in mind players who had upside, potential, players that could come on and, have an impact. And then you can look at it and say, oh, this player, nice, interesting, gifted player, young player, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old. I can say, okay, has a future, can be the future of the Super Eagles. But now what we've seen is true to form with how the NFF does its business. And it's really, really upsetting to me. Although there's some positive spots, there's some with respect to the names on the list, and I'll share my screen and then we'll talk through the names on those lists. And let me know what you think as well. I'd like to know your personal opinions on that. So in a minute, I will share, my screen. So just hold on 1 second so we can all look at the list together, and then I'll hear what you have to say, and you hear what I have to say as well. So yeah, we'll share the list here. So this is it. So let's go into it. So this is the list now. So one is for the friendly match, and then the other for the Unity Cup game as well. So let's go. We've got Stanley Wabali, Maduka Okoye, and Maso Basuge as the goalkeepers. Nothing too surprising there, so that's fine. That's okay. Although I would have loved to see Ato Okonkwo make this list as well. And then maybe, although Harcourt is injured, so there's no way he would have made this one. Then Bruno Yemachi, I think I have to change how I've shared this so it becomes a lot easier to have a look. So I'll just stop sharing it for a minute, and then I'll go back and do it properly so that it can come up and be large. So I think that's a lot more better. So I'll just share the screen back and have a look. So, yeah, so that's the list now. So let's have a look. So Stanley Wabali, Maduka Okoye, and Maso Basuge. That's okay. I would have expected to see an Ato Okonkwo on this list. Noah Tubulu, I'm not sure if that will be able to happen, but it would have been nice to see him move if he does move. So, but we'll go with what we have there. And then for defenders, Bruno Yemachi, Oluwashemi, Logo Ajayi, that's Semi Ajayi, Igor Ogbu, Ifeanyi Onyebuchi, Junior Unduka, Sadiq is Ismaila, Waliyu Ojetoye, Felix Agu. It's available for training, so that means it's training. So having a look at the defenders, I asked myself, Shemi Ajayi, what is he doing on here? He just been released by his club, by West Brom, by a club in the Championship, and he still finds a way to make it on this list. Now, a lot of people will come with this experience jibe, or experience, play alongside just Ekong. But this game, we've all agreed that this is not a game where you particularly are, to focus on the experienced players being on this list. For me, I don't get it. Why is Shemi Ajayi on here? Are you trying to use this tournament, use this Unity Cup as a platform for him to get a club? That's what I keep saying. That games like this should not be where you used to give players opportunities to showcase what they can do and attract, clubs or to do them a favor. So I find it odd that he's on here. Now, Bruno Yemachi, of course, I've said he's Nigeria's best left back, so he should be on here. Igor Ogbu should be on here. I hope he gets to start. I really, really hope he gets to start. So probably we'll see it. Maybe Igor Ogbu and Shemi Ajayi may get to start in the game versus Ghana. And then we'll go to Wale Ojetoye. Fair dues. I don't know much about the player. There's nothing I can say about him. Now Felix Agu, nice to see he's on there, but as you can see, he's available for just training, which means possibly he'll just train with the team. Because I was wondering when I saw his name on the list of saying have the papers for nationality switch gone through as FIFA approved it, so and I don't think that has happened yet. So maybe he just trains with the team. I just hope and pray that the whole process of nationality switch goes through on time. Maybe he doesn't get to play this game, but at least he gets to play in the World Cup qualifying games in the future, and then AFCON as well. Then you go to midfield. Wilfred Ndidi, I'm asking myself again, why is it on here? Why is it on here? There should be other names that could be on this list, and you can say, okay, that's the future of Nigeria on there, but he's on here. Okay, that's it. Frank Onyeka, played very well for Augsburg, in Germany, and is set to be heading back to Brentford. I think, after his loan spell that has expired, and he was one name that was conspicuously missing. It was a shock that it was missing from the World Cup qualifying list. It was a shock that it was missing, and there's one name I'm so happy is not on this list, and he was the person that was selected ahead of Frank Onyeka, and that's Al Hassan Yusuf. I'm so happy he's not on here. Obviously, nothing personal to do with the player, but for me, I've always said it. From the first moment I watched Al Hassan Yusuf, I knew he wasn't good enough for the Nigerian Super Eagles. And then his career just seems to be going well, in the club front. So I'm glad he's not on here. And then Chrisantus Uche finally is on this list. Hopefully, he gets to show what he can do. Hopefully, he gets the opportunity to showcase ability, to showcase his skill. And that is one player I really want to see in that midfield. And I'm so happy that he's pending as a midfielder, because a lot of people have been coming up with all this weird talk, crazy nonsense about him being a striker. That's just crazy talk to me, because we've seen the likes of Caicedo for Chelsea do a job at right back, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he is a right back. We've seen Kai Havertz, play as a striker when we know he is an attacking midfielder. We've seen him play there. Does not make him a striker. So the same thing with Chrisantus Uche. His club from time to time may use him, as an advanced midfielder or someone who's advanced forward, going ahead of an actual striker. Doesn't mean he is a striker. Glad to see him on the list. Papa Mustafa is on here as well. I think he's moved to Grasshoppers. I think there's a move in the works about with respect to him joining Suicide Grasshoppers. So let's see. I mean, young boys rather. Let's see if that checks out. And then again, this game presents an opportunity for him to show what he can do. For players like this, I'm happy to see them on the list. I'm happy to see them on the list because these are players that have at least some level of upside. They have they're young, and when a game such as this, you give them the opportunity to show what they can do. If they impress, then okay, yes, we've got something booked in for the future. We've got another midfielder for the future that can contribute to the team going forward for the next 5, 6, even 10 years. Who knows? Collins, Ugueze, not much to say about him. Isaac Xavier, making his way back into the Super Eagles setup. So glad to see him. Let's see what he can do. Now, more interesting things to talk about now. Samuel Chukwueze is on here again. Quite frankly, he hasn't really been impressed. He didn't really impress in the World Cup qualifying game, so it's a bit odd that he's here. And Messeria give him opportunity to show what he can do, that he's regained his form. But I thought there are more players that would have done better with this opportunity. But fair enough, he's on here. What can I say? Simon Moses is on here as well. And then there's a name I'm going to talk about now. And people are going to say you complain not too much about this player, but I just have to complain about this player. Kelechi Iheanacho, senior man, Kelechi Iheanacho. I almost remove my cap for you. What is Kelechi Iheanacho doing here? What is he doing here? He's not on supreme form. He's not a youngster that's about, to break through and show you what he can do. He was at Leicester. He got benched by a 39-year-old, 38-year-old Jamie Vardy. He couldn't get any game time at Leicester. He left Leicester, went to Sevilla, couldn't cut it. They had to sign another striker. Clubs like Sevilla, while they are traditional clubs, while they are big clubs, they don't have that much money to spend, to waste. Where you sign one striker and then you sign another striker. Before they go out to splurge the cash, that means the striker they've signed or the player they've signed was or isn't really cutting it. And he wasn't really doing anything there at Sevilla. And then he leaves Sevilla and then he heads over to Middlesbrough and hasn't been doing well there either. Hasn't been playing well there either. The coach there, a guy, is has been trying to protect him. Saying he's doing well. He does so much for the team in the dressing room and all that. That's what you expect the coach to do. Try to protect your player and protect the asset, protect the little value that may be in a player. So if a club wants to sign him, they don't say, "Oh, even this coach is complaining about him." So Kelechi Iheanacho, why is he on here? I don't get it. I just don't get it. He's here. I don't understand. There's another name I'm going to talk about it as well again on here. I don't get why they're on here. They don't make it. It doesn't make any sense. Nathan Tella is on the list again. Now for Nathan Tella, I seriously hope he gets the opportunity, to play. I seriously hope he plays because he's been invited. I think the first time he was invited, he only played a few minutes, and then the next cycle where he was invited, he had issues with his family issues, and then he dropped off the list. The last time he was invited, by Eric Chill, then we heard, he was injured a few days to the World Cup qualifying games. He was injured, had to pull out. So I sincerely hope he gets the opportunity to play. And then Cyril Dessas, I think he was been a bit unfortunate not to make the World Cup qualifying list because I think he has been on very, very good form, scoring tons of goals for Rangers. And then for some reason wasn't able to make the list. And I agree that okay, yeah, why he didn't make the list. I embraced the reason because for me, I felt like, and I still feel like, when it comes to that physicality that is needed, to play the way Ericho wants to play and the way I like to see football played, which is high intensity, high pressure football, then he can't quite cut it. But he's a player that if he pairs with someone like a Tolu Arokodare, someone like a Victor Osimhen, someone like a Victor Boniface that he can play off of and then make the runs off the shoulder of a defender, then he can be really, really useful for the Nigerian Super Eagles. So having him on here for me, let's see what you can do. Show us more of that form from Glasgow Rangers. Let's see what can happen. And then Tolu Arokodare, of course, he deserves to be on here because his performance for KRC Genk has been exceptional this season. He scored over 20 goals and he made his debut for Super Eagles in the World Cup qualifying games. So I think he deserves to be here. He won the Ebony Shoe for the best player award in the Belgian league. He won it. I think he deserves to be on this list. With Victor Osimhen not on the list, with Victor Boniface not on the list, so maybe that means he gets to get his full debut where he starts, the game. So no arguments here. He's meant to be on here. Now, Ahmed Musa, why? I don't know if you're fans of Ahmed Musa, but why is he on here? I think sometimes you've served your nation, you've played so well, you've done everything, you've won Nations Cup, you've done a lot for the country. There comes a point in time when you say, okay, I'm done. I've I've fought the good fight. I've done my bit for the country. Now it's my time to relax and watch others play and give others opportunity to play. And now's the time where maybe I can be an advisor to these players, help talk to them, help motivate them, but not take up spots when your body's going to fail you, when you're not performing at that top level anymore. And that's the problem I have. Firstly, he's not some youngster like a 19-year-old, 18-year-old, where you want to give an opportunity to see, what they're all about. His career is done, is set in stone, and then you bring him in here. Why? What are you going to achieve? Like, what at the end of the day, having Ahmed Musa here, is there anything Ahmed Musa will do in this game that would make you say, yeah, I'll take it? He's going to be in the World Cup or he's going to be in World Cup qualifiers. He's not good enough. Why is he on here? Why is he on here? He's done his best. I keep using Peter Rufai as an example. Peter Rufai was Nigeria's best goalkeeper. But for some reason, they kept bringing him, re-inviting him, inviting him until he looked so bad and almost tarnished all the good work he did in the past, all the good work he had done in the past. So the same thing is happening with Ahmed Musa right now, because each time you look at a list and you see Ahmed Musa, I'm sure you roll your eyes. For me, I don't know why he's on here. Now, and we know the usual reason people give. We know the usual reason. Oh, experience. We have experience. But this is not an office job. Your experience, you have to be able to show it on the pitch. Or you have to connect with the coach and the players. You can be a player liaison officer. You can be, you can have some other role. They can give him some other role, make him an assistant for like here, but not give him the spot of someone else on the team and say he's a player. Then we'll have Sekiru Alimi on here. I don't know if he still plays for Remo Stars, but I think it's a bit too late for him right now. Because is he that young where he can say, wow, exciting player, from here he can build off? No, he is gone again. So why do we do this? I don't get this. People say, oh, this is a friendly match. Yes, this is a friendly match. This is the sort of friendly matches you give the likes of Areri Korabo. This is the kind of matches you let them show you what they're all about. If they can play at the next level. On you put your baskets, this is the kind of tournaments you invite him and let him show you what he can do. It's not a tournament where you bring ancient people on here. And then some people in the comments are saying, this is an opportunity for the coach to experiment. You can't be experimenting with old chemicals, with expired chemicals, or else you blow your lab down, or else you burn your lab, you touch your lab. You touch your lab. So why do you have these players on here? And is Ahmed Musa you want to experiment with? I'm experimenting with Ahmed Musa. How? It doesn't make any sense to me. And then there's another friendly match that Nigeria is meant to play, and then we talk about Abubakar Adamu. Don't know who he is. Did some research, came up with Abubakar Adamu, who's who plays for Wiki Torres as a defender, but on here he's listed as an attacker. So I don't know if that's an error or that's another Abubakar Adamu. Let's see how things develop. So, and then there's more on the list. There's another list that we'll look at again. So stop sharing for a bit. There's another list that we'll look at, and that's for the other friendly games that are coming up. So I'll just bring up that list, and let's just, while we're looking at this, we just talk through them quickly. So I'll share my screen again and bring up the list for the tournament. Let's share it now. And so I hope we all can see it. So I'll try it on here. So there's the list for, I think, versus friendly match versus Russia. Say Maduka Okoye or Maso Basroge. So I'm thinking maybe after the Unity Cup, Sanwa Bale maybe begins his vacation, his holidays, or give him time to rest and get prepared, for the World Cup qualifiers will be coming later on in the year. And then defenders, William Chusekong comes back in, Olua, Olua, Olua Aina comes in, Igor Ogbu comes in, Bright Osai Samuel, Bruno Iheanacho comes in, Semi Ajayi still in here. The question I asked on the other list, I'm asking it on here, Semi Ajayi, he's just been released by his club. Is that sufficient to say he should be on here? Shouldn't these friendly games be the games where you give certain players opportunities? Each time I've talked about some new faces, so whether dual nationals or players from Nigerian grassroots. Each time I've talked about them, oh, you can't play them in the first team, or you can't play them in serious World Cup qualifying games. You give them opportunity to play in friendly matches. Now you have friendly matches. Where are they? You have friendly matches. Where are they? It's the likes of Samir Ajayi, that has been released by his club. Do people quite understand what it means for a club to say we're releasing you? Now, if a club is releasing you, especially when your contract hasn't expired, in fact, the club can't release you when your contract expires. That means they didn't renew. When a club is releasing you, that means they're saying, we pay off your contract value, just take that and go. We don't want to deal with you anymore. So you have to understand how bad a player is for a club to release the player and just say, okay, go with the contract. Because these clubs, they are businesses and they like to hold on to their money. But for a club to say, okay, we're letting you go with your salaries, we don't want you in the building anymore, that's a serious issue. So, and his form has dipped, so I don't get why he's still on here. But for some reason, there you have it. So still we have Wilfred Ndidi on here still, Frank Onyeka, Chrisantus Uche, Papa Mustafa, Fisayo Dele Bashiru makes it onto this list. Raphael Onyedika makes it onto this list. So for what I can see, from this list so far is that it begins to get it's more closer to what we'd expect to see, with the World Cup qualifying games. But I think the list will still change before the World Cup qualifying games start. So you got Papa Mustafa as well, Fisa Yodele Bashiru as well, Raphael Onyedika. For me, I'd like to see a Raphael Onyedika, Chrisantus Uche, pairing in the midfield. Maybe Fisa Yodele Bashiru joins them as well. And then for forwards, Samuel Chukwueze, Moses Simon, Kelechi Iheanacho, Nathan Tella, Victor Boniface, Tolu Arokodare, Sadiq Umar. Now, Kelechi Iheanacho again, why is he on here? Are they thinking that maybe he can come in and play and score a couple of goals and then people will rave for him, will be back on to say, yeah, can't you see what he's doing? Keep him in the team. I don't quite get it. I don't get it. Sadiq Umar is on here. I know people will come up with a different set of excuses to say, oh, it's a friendly game. It's not serious. It's a serious game. It's a friendly game. But we forget that when we talk about giving certain fresh faces opportunities in the team, what we usually get is we can play them in senior team games. We can play them in actual competitive games. But now you have the opportunity to give these players opportunities. You have the opportunity to give caps to young, exciting players. But you say no. You're saying no. For me, the good part, I said there's a good side to the list, or a positive I can take from the list, which is Felix Agu gets to be in the Nigerian Super Eagles setup, although he's just training. I don't think he's cleared. His registration hasn't pulled through just yet. So he'll just train with the team and then you watch the team play. And that's it. So positive that he's beginning to be in the building. And that therefore implies that the likes of Justin Jima, who is his close friend, and according to him in an interview, they've had discussions about both playing for Nigerian Super Eagles, as that will be a thing of joy for them and their family. So that means those both players could, before the year ends, be part of the Nigerian Super Eagles setup. So that's positive to see. Chrisantus Uche as well making it into the team. That's positive to see because I've been calling out for this player ever since I started watching him at Getafe. I've been calling for him. I said this is a player that I think can be a difference maker in that midfield because he has the energy and the quality and the technique to go two-way. Because sometimes you see a player that has all the technique in the world but doesn't have the physicality doesn't have the athletic ability to go both ways, can only do it one way. Then you have some players, they have the physicality, but they don't have the technical ability to execute. So he is the best of both worlds, kind of, because he can do both. So I think he's a welcome addition to the Nigerian Super Eagles. It's someone I'd like to see, play. I hope he starts both 3 games actually. I hope he gets to start. That's all the fixtures in Unity Cup and the friendly match afterwards. So really, really, I hope he starts. And then Rafael Onyedika being in the team, that's a positive. Paham Mustafa, that's a positive as well. Good to see that's in the team. It is an opportunity for him to show what it's all about. But for me, the negative side is the bad habits that the Nigerian Football Federation still holds on to decades and decades afterwards. Ahmed Musa, whatever you want to say about him, he's not going to contribute anything to this team. He's not going to play close to 50, 60 minutes. Even if he plays, he's not someone you're looking at to say, okay, he's going to deliver us or deliver something in the World Cup qualifying games, deliver something, in the Nations Cup, and it's a disservice to him because if he comes on the pitch and struggles like we know he will struggle, then everyone will be on his case. And everyone will forget about the goal he scored in the World Cup. Everyone will forget about the good things he's done. It's just only going to be about how bad he's played at the minute. So he shouldn't have been invited at all. He shouldn't have been invited. I've said this time without number. If you want him in the building, if you want him to be sort of inspiration to the younger players, if you want him to be that link between the coaching staff, and the players, then you give him whatever role you want to give him. Come up with another name, assistant, player liaison officer, whatever you want to do. But to have him in the team where he's taking up the spot of other players, it doesn't make any sense to me, and I think that's very, 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 very bad. And then Cyril Dessas being in the team, I think that's a positive. Let's see what it's all about. He scored all those goals in Scotland. He's missed out on the World Cup qualifying games. Let's see what he can do playing against a side like Ghana and playing against a side like maybe Jamaica or Trinidad and Tobago. That gives us an opportunity to see what it's all about. Rafael Onyedika being in the team, for me, that's a positive, because I think Rafael Onyedika, Chrisantus Uche, Ebenezer Akinsimiro, these are the 3 pillars of Nigeria's midfield, in my opinion. Someone is in the chat. Let's see what they had to say. Iheanacho, Musa, maybe they want to send them off. The technical department of NFF needs a shake-up. Yeah. And say maybe they want to send them off. Olubenga, maybe that's what they want to do. But for me, it's just craziness. It's serious craziness. I've said it before. The national team, the Super Eagles, Flying Eagles, whichever national team, whichever national side, is not meant to be where you sort of compensate people. If you want to compensate someone like Ahmed Musa, if you want to, thank Ahmed Musa for his wonderful service to the Nigerian Super Eagles, then you have, sort of like a valedictory game, a charity match. Everyone comes together. You can have even people like JJ Okocha come and be part of that, sort of a friendly match, celebrate his retirement, that sort of thing. Yeah, but this is an opportunity where you could have given a lot of young players an opportunity to shine, to show what they're all about. But you've not. And I'm talking about dual nationals. I'm talking about just Nigerian nationals as well. This would have been a nice opportunity. I read Parabo. This could have been a beautiful opportunity for him. Promise Melega, Onyebuchi Obasi, Victor Eletu. This could have been a lovely opportunity for them to show you what they can do. Not a game that means much in terms of World Cup qualification or means much in terms of AFCON, but a Super Eagles game nonetheless. And would have been all eyes in Nigeria will be on this tournament. A lot of eyes in the world would be on this tournament. So this would have been a fine opportunity to give these players their first cap for the national team. And I keep saying this. Have a look. You don't exist in isolation. Have a look at other teams in the world. Teams you want to compete with, teams that you feel like, okay, we are looking at the same target. We want to win the same thing. Your Moroccos, your Brazils. Look at how they do it. When they get one talent, one player that is shining, that's in good nick, a young player that hasn't been given national team cap, once they have the opportunity, instantly they give the player a cap. So at least that tells the player that yes, we want you in the building, we want you to be part of this. But what we're doing is just wrong. Who may not like it, who may come up to say all sorts of weird things like or experience. This is not office job. The experience must show on the pitch. And Ahmed Musa, he can't quite cut it. He can't quite cut it. So for me, I don't get this. I just don't. It's a bit disappointing for me. Not surprising. It's not surprising. The NFF will do what they'll have to do. And then you have their minions come out to say, nobody can be ever happy with every list. Yeah, that's true. But there are some things you look at and you shouldn't be seeing it. Can you imagine if by 12 a.m. you have the sun shining? You'll be shocked. How is that happening? 12 a.m. the sun is up and shining bright. You say that's odd. The same thing. You have this list. You see someone like Ahmed Musa there. That's odd. The same thing. You look at this list. You see Iheanacho on there. You're like, what's going on here? He has struggled. Let's accept it. Iheanacho used to be very good for Nigeria, for the Super Eagles, but he's no longer that player anymore. And having him in this team doesn't help anybody. Having him in this team denies certain players opportunities they would have had. Ahmed Musa in this team denies certain players opportunities they would have had. Semi Ajayi in this team doesn't send a good message. The message you should be sending to people that want to play for Nigeria is this. If you're doing well at your club, if you're in good form at your club, you will play. But if you're not playing well, if you're a striker, you scored 1 goal in 10 games, 1 goal in 15 games, then we won't look at you. We won't invite you to this team. That should be the message you're sending out. If you're a player and you don't even have a club, you are not going to be in this team. That should be the message that the Nigerian Football Administration, the Nigerian Football Federation, National Sports Commission should be sending out via the way it selects players. But no, invite Semi Ajayi, you can check it. West Brom has, he has been released by West Brom, but he's somehow on this list. Now, for me, I accepted it from day one. Victor Osimhen won't be on this list. Accepted. I agreed. Because of the timing is a bit odd. Because most Premier League or European leagues will just be winding down, and players maybe would have had their holidays planned to travel and then get themselves prepared for the proper international window, which is the World Cup qualifying games and all that. But when you now have certain names on the list, and people are telling me it's experiment, you're telling me that the experiment you want to conduct is Ahmed Musa experiment. How? How then do we move Nigerian football forward if we keep getting this sort of list? If we keep getting this sort of thing, how then do we move forward? How then do you move forward? Look at other countries, England, Germany, when they have these friendly games, look at the players they invite. If they can't invite their number ones as the main guys, like the Hurricanes and all, they invite players with prospects. Players with prospects, players that have upside, that can come in and show you that the future of England, the future of Germany, the future of Spain is safe football-wise. But what you get with Nigeria is you bring people who are no longer playing football and you bring them into the team. Bring players who are not good enough, you bring them into the team. And you think by some magic, by some magic, that they are going to come good. These are the friendly games we're talking about. These are the friendly games. Because I know each time I say, give this young player an opportunity, give Ita an opportunity, give this young kid an opportunity, give this fresh face that's doing well in his team an opportunity, people always say, we can't use World Cup qualifiers to give them a chance. We can't use AFCON to give them a chance, which is not a particular strong argument anyways. We need friendly matches to give them opportunities. Now you have the friendly games. You have the Unity Cup. Important to beat Ghana, but it's a glorified friendly. Now you also have this other game coming up afterwards. These are the games that you should have used to give these players opportunities. But no, 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 no. Nigeria, we need to do like that. If it makes sense, if it seems sensible, we don't go that route. We go the crazy route. We go the crazy route. There's something called the valedictory games or matches where someone wants to retire. He has a game. They play. Their line to score 4 5 goals. He takes a penalty. If he doesn't take penalties, fun, nice fun time. But this one wasn't good enough. So, but nonetheless, what can we do? The list is out. The list is out. It is what it is. So, out of the players on that list, who would you think should start? What should be your starting 11? Let me know in the chat what should be your starting 11. And if you just join in, we're talking about the list for the international friendly matches that Nigeria will be playing. So, are you happy with the list? If you've seen it, are you not happy with it? Let's know who you'd have loved to see on that list, and are you shocked is on that list? For me, I've said it, I'm shocked. I'm not shocked, I'm disappointed because I kind of suspected that certain people will be invited and you have them on the list, even when they're not meant to be there. And I have to say this, I have to bring this up because this is how Nigeria lost very easy. This is how Nigeria lost very easy. An opportunity like this was there, players with dual nationalities were coming into the team, to train with the team. I think he was one of them. I'm not quite sure if he actually trained with the team, but he was in and around that environment. And then what happened? They're giving strange people opportunities. Or what next time waiting for? Are we going to give Finidi George an opportunity? Maybe we'll give Finidi George an opportunity to play on the right wing. We'll give Sunday Olise to play in the midfield. Because this is a friendly match, it doesn't mean anything. We want to experiment. It's just like trying out a new, you're going to a party, you want to try out an ancient shoe you wore when you were 5 years old. You want to wear it now, maybe you're 25 or you're 30. Does it make any sense? You want to try out the shoe. It's not going to make any. It's not going to fit you. Ahmed Musa, is gone. And then you talk. I'm happy I have to Yusuf. At least he's not on here. I'm happy about that. And I hope Chrisantus Uche indeed gets to start. I don't want any excuse and have him on the bench. You're watching and the game starts, full 95 minutes played, and he's not on there. It's happened again in the second game. I don't want that kind of nonsense. Igor Ubu should start every game. He should start every game. He shouldn't be on the bench. He shouldn't be on the bench. I know people will come out and tell you experience Semi Ajayi. What experience? Even when Semi Ajayi has been good enough, let's be honest with ourselves. Even when he has been playing, let's be honest. We all know that we just manage him, as we say. We're just managing Semi Ajayi. We know he's not that good. So when you have people like Igor Ogu in the building, don't keep him on the bench. Don't keep him on the bench. And one thing people should not forget is that if right now he just has Nigerian nationality and there's no talk of him switching nationality anywhere else, but if you keep frustrating the player, Czechia could say, okay, we are going to try to get him to play for us. And when someone has been disappointed so many times, not given an opportunity to show what it's about, who says he doesn't switch? After all, it's a Nigerian that's choosing to play for Canada. But him, I'm not even really bothered about him. But it is possible. It's not only when someone is born in Germany, England, that they can switch. Sometimes the player is born in Nigeria, moves to a different country, flying straight there, and the Super Eagles joke around with, giving this player his due reward in terms of his cap with the national team, and that player ends up playing for someone else. That player ends up playing for someone else. And players like Igbo are rare, 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 very rare players. In world football, they are rare. Not to even talk of a Nigerian talent. In world football as a whole, they are rare. Like, how many defenders can you point out to say they're like Anthony Rudiger? How many? Of all the defenders as you watch football, how many players can you point at? Central defenders, can you say they have the tenacity of Anthony Rudiger? They have the passing range. They have that leadership. How many players? Rare. Even in the Germany where his national team, you don't see defenders like that. So when you see an Igor, you take advantage of it and make sure you get him committed to playing for the country. Because I don't understand this business of inviting people who are not good enough. And people sometimes come up with this weird stake, which is the fact that you're playing well for your club doesn't mean you play well for your country. So you see a player playing poorly for his club, then you invite him to the national team. Does that make sense? Or you see someone who doesn't have a club at all, then you invite him to the national team and hopefully he plays well. It doesn't make sense. Nigerian football can't be run like this. At all. Can't be run like this. So in terms of your starting 11, who would you want to see? For me, Stanley Wabali must start. He must start that game. And then Felix Agu, unfortunately, he can't play. So Bruno Yemachi will start for me. And then Olaina is not in the first game. So I'm guessing someone else will start there, not to converse with some of the names on that list. And then in midfield, maybe Papa Mustafa, Kusal Uche, say Happy Big Costa, say Nigeria is a criminal nation. The audacity of criminals in Nigeria is unheard of in human history. Al Capone would be called post that in Nigeria. It's funny. That's funny. Now, Nigeria is a country I love to call my country. That there are people who are very, very good, very industrious, intelligent in the country. So proud of that. 100% proud to call myself a Nigerian. But then again, there's the way certain things are done. You ask yourself, are we really interested in winning? Like, are you really interested in winning or in progressing if you keep inviting certain players? Anyways, so in that midfield, I'll be going with Papa Mustafa, Chrisantus Uche, and Rafael Onyedika. I think that's a midfield that would work. Or you could have a Fisayo Dele Bashiru, Chrisantus Uche, and then Rafael Onyedika. But for me, Chrisantus Uche more start. Will be giving game time. And for me, Tolu Arokodare must start as well. He must start. And then he probably should start with Cyril Dessas. The first in the Unity Cup games, and then in the other friendly match, I think Arokodare and maybe Cyril Dessas or Victor Boniface can be a two-man, attack. So that's how I see this team set up. Maybe Samuel Chukwueze has to play on one wing with Simon Moses on the other wing as well. So either you go with a 4-2-3-1 or you go with a 4-4-2. If you go with a 4-4-2, then you have Bekusa Uche, Rafael Onyedika in the middle, and then you have your Samuel Chukwueze on one wing and have Simon Moses on the other, and then you have Arokodare in that number 9 role. And then there's another player for me that I don't have any issues with him being on the list, at least for the other friendly match, and that's William Troost Ekong. I don't have issues with him primarily being on the list, but for me, the question is, what are we doing to replace the player? He's not young anymore in footballing terms. He's still young in human terms, but in footballing terms, he's not young, 36 going on 37. And he's already said it that this AFCON is his last AFCON. And possibly the World Cup would be his last World Cup. So what are we doing? What's the NFF doing? What is the NFF doing to replace this player? Because right now you have people you can bring in the building that can learn under him as understudies, and then when he's gone, they can now easily or seamlessly take their place. In that they can seamlessly fill that space, seamlessly fill that gap. So if you're just joining, we're talking about the list. What are your thoughts and opinions on the NFF, on this Unity Cup list, for the other friendly match again? What are your thoughts on it? And then there's something that we should also talk about, because it seems certain names are on the list for the Unity Cup, and then they are dropped for the other friendly match. So what's your take on that? So for me, I would have felt like it would have been better to have everyone on that list, on one list for for both set of games. But I quite understand why certain names are drop off the list, because possibly they have club commitments that they have to meet, so they can't be on that list, and maybe things like that. But I think it would have been ideal to have one list for all the players on there. Also, if you're here, let me see your starting 11. Who would you like to see in that team? So just give me a moment. I'll just go on a quick couple of seconds break. And yeah, so Olubenga Bamidele says Ekong has lost the last 5 games with his club, so something is wrong with his invite. Yeah, that's it. So for me, my question is, respect to Trust Ekong, is who is the other person that should be fighting for that spot? You know, he's not getting any younger, 36, 37. I know with advances in medical, medical science, sports science, and all sports medicine, players get to play even longer. Ronaldo is 40, to play in the Saudi Pro League. But for me, Semi Ajayi shouldn't be in the team anyways. Just Ekong, you should be thinking of having a replacement. So if in a game is struggling, you have someone that's coming to take his spot, and then when he eventually leaves, you have someone who is ready to step in. You're not running helter skelter in terms of, oh, this person doesn't have experience. You should be getting someone in the building. So looking at this list right now, Bruno Yemachi, Semi Ajayi, Igor Ogbu, Ifeanyi Onyebuchi, Junior Nduka, Sadiq, Ismaila, Waliyu, Ojetoye, Felix Agu. When you look at this list, it's not all too impressive. The Bruno Yemachi, of course, Igor Ogbu, of course. So if we're doing that formation again, probably go the 4-4-2 maybe. So Stanley Wabali is goalkeeper, Bruno Yemachi left back, and Igor Ogbu, Igor Ogbu, the central defense, alongside Semi Ajayi, because I don't know the other people. Ismail Sadiq, then at right back. So that's it. Felix Agu can play. He will possibly train. And then Wilfred indeed in midfield. For me again, because he and Tus Ekong, they came up short. Let's be honest. They came up short in the World Cup qualifying games. So having them as the steady, regular names that you can't challenge is an issue for me. Then so you have Wilfred Ndidi Onyeka and Chrisantus, Papa Mustafa, Collins, Ugueze, Savior Isaac. So I think Ugueze plays in the MPFL. So for me, I'll be going with Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Onyeka, no, Papa Mustafa, Chrisantus Uche, and Frank Onyeka. I'll be going with that three in the midfield. And then in terms of the three up front, Nathan Teller, Samuel, Samuel Chukwueze, and Tola Rokodare. So just based on what we have on the list, there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. And then that's for the Unity Cup games. Sikiru Alimi, I think there was a time he was about leaving the league. I don't know if he indeed left, but he didn't really pull up any trees. So I would have preferred a young, dynamic, grassroots striker to have made it onto this list instead of having him here. But that's what you get. Then for the other friendly games, you have Maduka Okoye and Amas Obasogie as the goalkeeper. So for me, maybe Maduka Okoye starts, and for me, this should be the last ball stop for Maduka Okoye. This should be the last bus stop. This is where he should show himself what he's able to do. If he can't cut it, then he's gone for me, because he's been given opportunity after opportunity. He hasn't covered himself in glory. So I think he starts in this game. Then you got William Mekong, like William Ekong, Olaina, Igor Gbu, Bratus Samuel, Bruno Yemachi, and Semi Ajayi. So for me, I'll go with Igor Gbu again, choose Ekong as the centre back pairing for the friendly match, and then Bruno Yemachi on one side, and Olaina on the other side as right back. And then midfield, that's a four at the back. Then midfield, I'll go with Frank Onyeka, Chrisantus Uche, and then Rafael Onyedika. So these are the three midfielders I'll go with. I think they give you that balance, that ability to go, box to box, attack and defend. Wilfred Ndidi for me, he wouldn't play in a friendly match. And then the forwards, you still got Samuel Chukwueze, you've got Simon Moses, you've got Kelechi Iheanacho, Nathan Teller, and Victor Boniface, Tola Rokodare. For me, Iheanacho wouldn't play. He just wouldn't play. That's the way I look at it. I just think there's no need for him to play. For me, he shouldn't even be on the list. He shouldn't even be on the list. So since you're going with a 4-3-3 for this one, you go with Victor Boniface or Tola Rokodare as the lone striker. Simon Moses on one side, Nathan Teller on the other side. Sadiq Umar, he might be leaving Valencia. I don't know where he'll be heading to. And I don't quite know. He's not someone that you can really hang your hat on. Umar Sadiq, he can score a couple of nice looking goals, but when it comes to it, like, can he be consistent enough? Can he be that consistent performer? I doubt, because in his club career, I don't think he's really ever been consistent. Like at this club, consistently scoring, giving you 15, 16 goals or 20 goals a season. I don't think so. I don't think so. And for me, I don't think he has even the legs to go, to play that high intensity football. I just don't think so. But what you have here, maybe he gets an opportunity to play, but I think Cyril Dessas should be given the opportunity off the bench to play, because he sorely missed out. I, for one, I didn't say he should be in the team, in that World Cup qualifying team. For me, I was like, he didn't have the physicality, but I think it can be. He's more clinical than Sadiq Umar, that's for sure. He's a better goal scorer than Sadiq Umar. Sadiq Umar, I think, is better on the ball, but Cyril Dessas is a better goal scorer. So that's the sort of formation I'll be going with over the two games, 4-3-3. So let me know players you would like to be invited to this that you'd have loved to see in this team. Like we've talked about Felix Agu. Felix Agu is only going to train, he's not going to play. But I think that goes to show that he really is committed to playing for, the Nigerian Super Eagles. He really is committed. So for me, I don't want another Ebere is a business. I want everything to pull through. He comes in, he plays, he shows what he can do, and he becomes a mainstay in the team, because he's shown us his versatility as when he's played for Bremen, and you want to see that in the Nigerian Super Eagles. Because right now, unfortunately, Bruno Yemachi is the only left back of note, of any sort of quality, in the Nigerian Super Eagles setup. And I don't want to see Olaina playing at left back. I don't want to see that, because you take him from right back spot and playing at left back, you're robbing the team. You're robbing the team. For me, Eric, chill. What you did in the World Cup qualifying games, I don't want to see it in these games. I don't want to see Igor Agu sit on the bench for the entire for all the games. I don't want to see Olaina playing left back and an inverted left back for that. I don't want to see that. There's no need. Nigeria is at her best. The Nigerian Super Eagles are at their best when they're flying, when the wings are flying. That's when the teams are the best. Wing play. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. All this inverted nonsense that people are coming up with, trying to copy Pep Guardiola. I don't know what they want to achieve with that. But let's take advantage of the speed that this team has, as opposed to playing people out of position. And there's no need. There is just no need to play players out of position. There's no need. Having Olaina play that left back position, there's no point. Especially when you have someone like Bruno Yimachi in the team. We all know he is the best left back available right now in Nigeria. So you don't drop him you don't drop him and then play another player out of position in his place. It doesn't make sense at all. And then Ahmed Musa incidentally doesn't make it into the friendly match games. So it makes me wonder, why is he even on here? Why is he on here? So my thoughts and opinions on the list. Let me know what your thoughts and opinions are on this list. And then I'll be continuing with the reaction videos to certain players as well. And let me know players you'd like to see. And other news. There's talk about Seyi Olofijana's son. I don't know if you all remember Seyi Olofijana. Used to play midfield for Nigeria. Used to play for Wolves as well. So his son has been released. Femi Olofijana has been released by Birmingham. So that's an odd one. It's a defender, it's a versatile defender, but he has been released. So just like I wouldn't want to see Femi Olofijana in the Super Eagles as a player with no club, the same thing. How can we comfortably want Semi Ajayi to be in the team when he's dropped off a cliff? No country does this. Countries that want to win, countries that compete at the top, don't invite players that don't have clubs. Especially when you have the sort of talent pool that Nigeria has. If maybe you are some small country, you have 2 or 3 good players and that's it, then you can understand. If one of your 3 good players is dropped by their club or doesn't have a club, you can invite them, make them part of your team because that's the best you have. But when you have the size of Nigeria, you have the depth of talent that Nigeria does have, then going on to get someone who's clubless makes no sense. Going on to invite someone who's retired makes no sense. Going on to invite players who have not played more than 2 games for their club sides makes no sense. And it only screams to me that people don't know what they want to do. Because what we don't understand is if money is your driver, if the Super Eagles begin to win things, World Cup, AFCON on a regular basis, the investment you get will be way higher than what you have now. The sponsors that will come to sponsor the Super Eagles, will be of a high caliber than what you have now. So for me, that's what the focus should be on, winning. And for me, I was also expecting that you would have seen 1 or 2 names from this under 20 side. Although that's the proper thing that should have happened, but even if the team wasn't that great, maybe 1 or 2 names from there, at least I would say, okay, there's progression, maybe Bamiyi, maybe Chuku, maybe Irene Korabo, maybe, make it into the team. That's okay, you see progression. But bringing this elder statesman to play doesn't make any sense to me. If Ahmed Musa, knock on wood, not hoping that happens, but he goes on to make a tackle, and what happens to old men when they keep wanting to play like young men happens to him, then what are we going to say? What are we going to say? So overall, my thoughts and opinion on this, let me know what you think as well in the chats. And once again, like I said, if you want to be part of a discussion panel on this channel, let me know in the chats and in the comments as well. So at this point, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who stayed from the start of this live stream of this video till the end. And for those that will get to watch this afterwards, big thank you. and I'll see you on yet another video. So stay well and stay blessed. Bye-bye.